The night stretched out in a hush so complete that every distant rustle, every whisper of wind seemed to echo like a shout. It was this kind of stillness that made Officer Jake Reynolds grip the wheel of his patrol car a little tighter, the rhythmic hum of the engine, the only companion on his silent beat. His shift had been as routine as they come, no radio calls, no flashing lights, until, abruptly, a dark shape materialized in his headlight. A German shepherd stood alone in the middle of the highway, its coarse dirt-streaked coat catching the light, its steady gaze fixed on Jake's approaching cruiser. Most stray dogs would have darted away, hearts pounding in panic, but this one did not flinch. Instead, it held its ground, ears alert, eyes brimming with intent. Jake eased off the accelerator, pulse quickening. Then the dog did something impossible to him, at least. It turned and bolted toward the forest, pausing at the tree line to ensure Jake was following. "All right, buddy," Jake murmured, trading the safety of his car for the unknown. He clicked on his flashlight, its beam slicing through the blackness as he stepped into the forest's embrace. Branches scraped overhead, the scent of damp earth rose to his nostrils. He'd already decided on the dog's name, moved ahead with the precision of a trained 9, weaving between trunks with a purpose that betrayed no fear. Jake had seen police dogs in action, but none recovered in his memory moved with such surety. The ground underfoot was uneven, roots snaring his boots, but he pressed on, heart hammering, footsteps echoing that unspoken rhythm between man and creature. After what felt like an eternity and only a few yards, Rex halted, ears pricked, nose twitching. At the base of an enormous oak tree lay a man. His body slumped against the trunk, sweat and grime glistened on his ashen face. Under the flashlight's glare, his eyes flicked open, relief and desperation flaring in equal measure. Please," he rasped, voice cracking. "Help!" Jake knelt, assessing the man's torn, bloodied pant leg and the grimace etched into his features. "What happened?" he asked, voice steady. The man, David Miller, clutched at his leg, pain etched in every movement. "My son, Ethan. Ethan, he's out there, hurt. I couldn't move him." "I told Rex to find help, but I didn't know if he'd make it." A surge of urgency shot through Jake. He reached for his radio. "A dispatch, this is Officer Reynolds. I have an injured adult in the woods. Possible second victim deeper in. Request immediate EMSers." Static crackled then. A copy, Reynolds. "IMS en route. Condition of second victim?" "I'm following the dog now," Jake replied, offering a reassuring nod to David. "Stay right here. Help's on the way." Rex, impatient, stood at attention. With David's eyes locked on them, Jake pressed forward, cradling his flashlight like a lifeline. Each step was deliberate. The dog never faltered, ghosting through the gloom. The deeper they ventured, the more the forest's usual nighttime chorus seemed to vanish, replaced by an eerie hush that pressed on Jake's sense. Then, illuminated by that wavering beam, he saw a small form huddled beneath a fallen tree. It was Ethan. He lay motionless, skin pale, a dark gash on his forehead oozing onto his cheek. Each shallow breath was a whisper. Fear tightened Jake's chest as he dropped to his knees beside the boy and pressed 2 fingers against his neck. A pulse, faint but there, fluttered under his touch. Rex, restless, nudged Ethan's arm, whined softly, then pushed his head against the boy's cheek as though urging him to wake. When Ethan remained still, the dog's whine rose in pitch, desperation in every quiver of his body. He licked Ethan's face gently, trembling. This was no mere trained response. It was love. Jake roused himself, voice gentle but urgent. "Come on, buddy, stay with me." He snapped his radio mic. E-dispatch found the child, head injury, unresponsive, pulse. "EMS needs to hurry. Copy that." "Medic's 5 minutes out," came the reply. Cradling Ethan carefully, Jake rose, Rex at his side like a shadow. They retraced their steps, lungs burning, hearts pounding. Rex stayed close, brushing against Jake's leg as if to say, "I'm here." When they burst into the clearing where David sat propped against the oak, the father's pain-racked face broke into both relief and agony. "He's alive," David whispered. "Alive," Jake confirmed, kneeling to check on David's own injuries. "Your leg's torn, but you'll be fine. We're getting both of you out." He pressed David's hand. David's eyes glistened. "Rex, he found us." Before more could be said, the distant wail of sirens cut through the forest. Flashing lights painted the trees red and blue. Paramedics swarmed in, efficient and calm. One medic knelt by Ethan, fitting an oxygen mask. Another checked David's vitals and strapped him onto a stretcher. Rex, restless, hovered at the edge, ears flattened, tail still. Jake knelt beside him. "You did good, buddy," he whispered. But Rex would not be comforted until he could accompany his boy. Jake caught the paramedic's eye. "Can he come?" he asked softly. The medic studied Rex's intense gaze. After a heartbeat, she nodded. "All right, let's make room." With that, Rex leaped into the ambulance, settling himself protectively beside Ethan's stretcher. Jake helped lift David into the ambulance as well, then closed the doors. The unit roared to life, tires crunching on gravel as it sped off, Ethan, David, and Rex hurtling toward the nearest hospital. Once the ambulance rounded the bend, the forest resumed its silence. Jake exhaled, rubbing his neck, mind racing with what he'd just witnessed. He climbed back into his patrol car. His job wasn't done yet. He had one more place to be. Hospital corridors buzzed with beeping monitors and hurried footsteps, but in the waiting area, Rex sat motionless, eyes fixed on the double doors that guarded his family. Every passing nurse and doctor drew his gaze, but he did not budge. Jake watched from a nearby bench, heart swelling with pride and concern. He knelt beside Rex. "They're in good hands," he soothed, but Rex's tense posture told a different story. Moments later, the doors opened. A doctor emerged, mask lowered. "They're stable," she announced. "A father has a fractured leg. Full recovery expected. Ethan suffered a head injury. He's unconscious, but vitals are strong. We expect him to wake soon." Rex did not wait. He bolted past startled staff, paws clicking against tile, and slipped through the doors before anyone could stop him. Jake raced behind, but paused as Rex padded into the dimly lit patient room. There David lay propped on his hospital bed, cast wrapped around his leg. Beside him, Ethan lay still, tubes and wires connecting him to machine. Rex approached the bed, sniffed Ethan's bandaged forehead, and nudged his small hand. No response. The dog whined, licked Ethan's fingers, trembled. Jake stood in the doorway as David's voice choked out, "He'll wake. Just give him time." Time was not a comfort, Rex understood. He flattened his ears, pressed close to the boy. Then suddenly Ethan's fingers curled. Rex's ears snapped up. He let out an excited huff. Moments later, Ethan's eyelids fluttered open. His gaze was unfocused at first, then zeroed in on the dog beside him. A weak smile tugged at his lips. "Hey, buddy," he croaked. Rex responded with a joyful bark and a gentle nuzzle, tail wagging furiously. David exhaled shakily, tears slipping free. Jake leaned against the door jamb, blinking back emotion. Nurses and the doctor peered in or in their eyes. One young nurse stepped forward, hand hovering over Rex's head. "You saved him," she whispered. Rex settled beside Ethan, resting his head on the boy's mattress as if to never let go. 1 week later, the Miller family home glowed in the warm afternoon sun. Birds chirped, shadows danced across the lawn. Officer Reynolds pulled into the driveway, stepping out to see Ethan, neck still swathed in bandages, laughing as he tossed a ball for Rex. The dog thundered after it, then trotted back proudly, ball clamped in his jaws. David sat nearby, casted leg propped on a chair, eyes bright as he waved Jake over. "Officer Reynolds, come on in," David called with a grin. Jake approached, shaking David's hand. "Good to see you both up and about." David chuckled, glancing at his cast. "Well, one of us at least." Jake smiled, nodding toward Rex, who dropped the ball at Ethan's feet and sat, tail thumping. "He's 1 in a million." David's gaze softened as he surveyed the dog at his son's side. "He didn't just save us," he said quietly, voice thick with gratitude. "He kept us together." Jake knelt to scratch behind Rex's ears. The dog leaned into the touch, eyes half closed in contentment. Ethan scooped up Rex in an embrace. "A thanks for being my hero," he whispered. In that golden yard, laughter and love wove through the air, a testament to loyalty deeper than words, stronger than fear, and powerful enough to give a little boy a second chance at love. And for Rex, the mission would never truly end, because family was a bond he intended to honor every day that followed.